Hello everybody, McFluffy Stuff here, and today we'd like to bring to you another deck tech, another Bant deck that we've been playing. Again, we love Bant. This time we're going to bring to you a Bant Flash deck. Um, Before we get into it though, I'd like to say if you liked the deck tech, leave a thumbs up, subscribe down below if any changes that you would make to our list, and subscribe to the channel to get updated when we're dropping new MTG Arena deck techs. We're going to try to keep pumping them out. We have so many decks in mind. Without further ado, let's get into our Bant Flash list. So here we have 2 Spell Pierce, 4 Hero of Precinct One, 2 Depose Deploy, 2 Warrant Warden, 4 Growth Spiral, 1 Prison Realm, 2 Deputy of Detention, 2 Teferi Time Raveler, 2 Settle the Wreckage, 1 Chemist's Insight, 4 Frilled Mystic, 2 Angel of Grace, 3 Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, 3 Hybrid Graces, and for the mana base we have 4 of every duel, 1 Forest, and 1 Island. So as you can see here, this is very much a Hero of Precinct 1 deck. The reason why we've called it Bant Flash though is because you got your Depose Deploy, you have your Warrant Warden, you've got your Growth Spirals, you got your Settle the Wreckage, your Chemist's Insight. I mean, you do have a ton of stuff here that can be played on both players' turns, and you have your Frilled Mystics. This is kind of more of a mid-range deck, but you do have the ability to go wide with things like Hero of Precinct 1, the Teferi Time Raveler, again, great card. If you can get it out against control, you go underneath them. This can definitely be a game changer. Your 2 Deputy of Detentions and your Prison Realm are pretty much your removal package for the deck. As time goes on, I love Deputy of Detention more and more, just because it does eat all of one thing. So being able to 3 mana get a creature and eat a walker is great. Against rival Hero Precinct 1 decks, eat all their 1/1s. It's just good. You got 2 Settle the Wreckage, just so you can kind of deal with other creature decks without wiping your own board. I don't really love Settle the Wreckage anymore because a lot of decks do play around it, but normally when paired with Hero of Precinct 1, the card is very good because they're not really expecting it, which is fantastic. Frilled Mystic is probably one of, if not my favorite creatures in Standard right now. A 4 mana counterspell that also doubles as a 3/2 body is fantastic. Uh, Angel of Grace has been a card we've been oddly addicted to since it was released out of Ravnica Allegiances. We haven't really played with it a lot. Every deck I've played with that card, though, has got more use than a lot of the other decks just because I love the art on the card. I love the fact that it keeps you alive, and I love the fact that even from your graveyard, it can help make your life total become 10. That might not seem super relevant, but the card is very strong. The Depose Deploy is sort of a way to either tap a creature down, clearly to kind of keep the heat off you. It also makes a 1/1 with your Hero of Precinct 1. Deploy is also great at instant speed because if you have a Hero of Precinct 1 out, you're at least gaining 3 life, or getting 3 creatures and gaining 4 life, excuse me. Both sides are okay on there. The Warrant Warden, Warrant is normally the side you will use. Warden is just sort of in a pinch, but sometimes that Warden side can be very good. Growth Spiral just to try to ramp you into your more mid-range-y style plays. A Growth Spiral on turn 2 can lead to things like Frilled Mystic on turn 3, which is always a feels good. The 2 Spell Pierce in here right now are kind of the flex of the deck. I think you could get away with playing something like Dovin's Veto in the main. I really wanted to play the Spell Pierce though, just because on turn 3 it's easy to play a hero, leave Spell Pierce up. Um, I don't think they've tested horribly so far. I just think that it could be something else, especially like the Dovin's Veto 2 hero, or trigger hero of Precinct 1. Now to touch on the sideboard here, we have 2 Baffling End, 1 Disdainful Stroke, 3 Karul Harpooners, 2 Dovin's Veto, 1 Prison Realm, 2 Knight of Autumn, 1 Shalai Voice of Plenty, 1 The Wanderer, 1 Time Wipe, and 1 Ugin. I will say out of these here, I love Baffling End versus things like Mono Red because I don't really have a way to deal with it once it hits board. Again, versus Mono Blue, same thing. It hits board, they can't. In rival matchups, things like Sultai Midrange, being able to get rid of their Wild Growth Walker with all their counters on there. Yeah, even if they, get rid of this, they get a 3/3, that's fine. Sometimes, they'll have a very, very big Wild Growth Walker. Also eats things such as the Hydroid Crisis. I'd rather give them a 3/3 than let them have a 7/7 or 8/8 flyer. Cards kind of underrated. The leaving a 3/3 for them in exchange is kind of rough sometimes, but that's okay. The 3 Karubal Harpooner. Uh, as of late in our testing, we've seen a ton of Grixis Bolas, as I call it, which is essentially Grixis Control, using 3 to 4 of the Flip Bolas and 3 to 4 of the new um, Bolas Planeswalker. There's also a ton of flyers in the format right now. Thief of Sanity is still good. As we mentioned, the Flip Bolas is good. Hydroid Crisis is a thing, so we're going to continue to play the Harpooner. Um, the two Dovin's Veto, again, you could probably move these to the main for Spell Pierce. I just like Spell Pierce a little more. Maybe it's because I play scared sometimes, but that's whatever. Prison Realm, this card's been overperforming for us. Being able to come into play and eat a Planeswalker for 3 mana is fantastic. Also, getting that Scry 1 is super nice. 2 Night Autumn, I love the flex on this card. It's good for something like Burn to gain life gain, or to have the life gain at a pinch, or to put the counters on it. Yes, it still dies to things like Lightning Strike, but at the same time, that's okay. It's not something that went to your face. The Shalai, again, very good. I know in most Bant decks we have one at least somewhere in the 75. The hexproof for you, your planeswalkers, and your other creatures is huge. Also in this deck, being able to pump your army of 1/1s is a great ability to have. The Wanderer, kind of for burn. Um, being able to exile a creature of 4 power or greater is also good. It has its moments. Um, Time Wipe was something I'm not really sure on yet. I haven't had to use this card quite yet. But being able to say, save your Hero of Precinct One, even if you do wipe your board, you're also wiping their board, so I guess it's kind of a horse apiece. And the Ugin, I love the Ugin for most mid-range decks. Being able to continually make 2/2s for free, that's kind of like a draw engine, is fantastic. Being able to destroy pretty much any permanent in play that's on a land, normally pretty good too. At 6 mana, I think this card is really powerful. Um, kind of teetering on overpowered, but at the same time, we're a big fan of Ugin, so we're not going to yell at him too much. So again, some changes you can make to the main here. To Spell Pierce out, in for 2 Dovins, that would be okay. You could also potentially play either more Deputy Detentions in the main or the sideboard, depending on what your meta looks like. I do like these versus things like Burn, just because being able to eat some of their targets, mainly Runaway Steamkins to get their counters off board. Um, against Mono Blue, most of the time Deputy Detention hits board, it stays. So depending on what you're playing a lot against, extra Deputy Detentions could be great. The Chemist's Insight hasn't been really good for us, but I like to have some draw somewhere normally, just to kind of keep our gas going here. You could also play a 4th Hydroid Crisis. I opted for 3. I could definitely see the argument for 4. The card is very good. The Depose Deploy is just kind of whatever. It's not super strong, but I think the Deploy in a pinch can be very powerful. And honestly, with Warrant Warden, this is probably one of the cards that could absolutely be cut out of the main 60. I just figured why not try it. It is only 2 mana to tuck something back on top of their deck. There's a lot of things right now that being able to reset their counters is very, very strong, especially with things like the Nissa running around that animates their lands. Being able to put a land back on top of their deck definitely sets them back a little bit. So with that out of the way, hit the like button if you liked the deck. Leave a comment down below what you would change to the deck. And please subscribe to the channel to get notified when we upload more Magic the Gathering Arena deck techs. Thanks for watching.